The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
It's the front page news.
It's what's trending now.
All right, here we go, right here. We got the one and only. Y'all please help me welcome back to the show this morning. He was on with us twice on yesterday. I told you, Reverend Al, I apologize that we was going to be blowing your phone up. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on this morning. And we had Lee Merritt and Ben Crump on this morning. And now we get an opportunity to talk to you, Reverend Al. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Well, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize, Ricky. Is what we do. Just don't put me on with Gary because he may start telling some stuff.
Okay,
Reverend. Reverend.
Yeah, Reverend Al. He good and messy, Reverend Al.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Reverend Al. Something is really bothering me right now, and the fact that we have so many cases like this situation right here. And now, before that, it was Trayvon Martin, then Mike Brown, then Philando Castile, all those other cases. And I think what was really bothering me, because when all of us get out here and we protest and we try to, fight for civil rights, and we going out here, we finally electing district attorneys, I think I just get really mad when other people and other races see our house on fire and keep going. Because if like I told Ben Crump a few minutes ago, if I walk outside a department store and see a woman getting raped or something, or somebody getting their purse snatched or getting shot and killed, and I do nothing, that make me just as guilty as the person that's doing it. And I just don't understand how people could sit here and see all of this stuff and they don't say anything. They don't participate. They don't march. Because I think if it was a mix of people protesting, not just black folks, white people too, that a lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening. And white silence is a problem for me. What are your thoughts?
Oh, no, it is definitely a problem. You become an accomplice if you see something going on and you do nothing about it. And that's why I said a lot of people that criticize those of us that protest, oh, y'all always protesting. We're protesting whether we win a case or not to affirm that it's wrong. If you sit by and don't even raise your voice, then you're saying that it is normal for blacks to be killed or be violated or whoever the victim may be. So if I can't do nothing else, I'm going to affirm that I'm against it by being loud and by being in the way. And it affirms my dignity and my self-worth. The more silent you are and the more you go along with it, it's like you deserve to be treated that way. The least you can do is protest. The most you can do is get justice. But the least you can do is not go along to get along because it minimizes your own value.
Right. I just don't understand. If anybody want to,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Eva.
Reverend Al, this is Eva Marcel. What do we do now? What do we do as far as going further in this investigation? What can we do?
Well, now that the next county's prosecutor said he would convene a grand jury, we need to keep the pressure on. You had to remember, he mentioned that the Trayvon Martin case. And when I first heard about the Trayvon Martin case, which was like this case, he had already been funeralized and buried. They would not even arrest George Zimmerman. So when Ben Crump and the parents of Trayvon came to me, we blew it up nationally through a rally down there. We brought 10,000 people into Sanford, Florida, and they finally arrested Zimmerman. We lost the trial. But they never even intended to have the trial. They never intended to charge him with murder. So what we must do here is first put the pressure to make sure that these people are prosecuted and then deal with the trial. But to have no prosecution is to say it's all right to kill this guy. There's no value. We don't even have to try the case. It's just a black life that has no concern, no matter. The three young, brilliant sisters that started the slogan Black Lives Matter said they started it after Zimmerman was acquitted. And one wrote in the book, I think it was Patrice Cullors, had we not gone down there, they would have never prosecuted Zimmerman. Well, what does that say to our children? That we're not even worth going to court? We're not even worth a trial? You can't raise your kid to be somebody and they see every day that if something happens to them, they're going to be treated like nobody.
Right, and all of this is this a citizen's arrest statute that needs to end. They need to take that off the law book. They really need to take that off, because if people feel like, just like they felt like he did something wrong and can run him down in a truck and take his life or whatever, stuff like this is going to continue to happen, especially when Donald Trump sits in the White House and he's letting white people know that it's okay to go out and seek out and feel that way towards minorities, because it's so obvious with him. If you have any questions for Reverend Al, you can call us right now. The phone lines are wide open. Call 866-9-RICKEY, 866-9-RICKEY. Reverend Al will be taking your phone calls. Coming up next, Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show, baby.
Y'all, we got the one and only Reverend Al Sharpton on the phone with us this morning. The National Action Network founder and president is calling for an investigation into the case of Ahmaud Arbery. If you have any questions for Reverend Al, you can call 866-9-RICKEY. Good morning.
After the Trayvon Martin case, I would think that they would have changed the law about the stand your ground, the taking the law into your own hands and stuff. Why aren't they changing these laws to where people are being held accountable for their actions?
Go ahead, Reverend Al.
Well, I think that he raises the right point, and the reason they're not changing the law is we're not changing the lawmakers. That's why we've got to vote and put people in these state legislators and in the Congress that change the laws. How are laws made? They're made by the people in office. How are the people in office made? They're made by our voting or not voting. We got to put people in that'll change these laws so this will stop.
All right, you're on with Reverend Al Sharpton. Good morning.
I was really going to say something that referring to that case, but black people need to have more of a Malcolm X approach and stop depending on our oppressors to get us justice and stop protesting. Protesting is not going to get us nowhere. The only thing they understand is violence. Violence creates violence, but it also creates a problem and get an answer.
Yeah. Well, I think if you have the Malcolm X with the approach of trying to put people in power and in office, we can make permanent change. If we went to Brunswick now and shot the guy that killed Arbery, then what are you going to do with the next guy? We'll end up whoever shoots him goes to jail. If you're black, you're going to jail for violence. And if you're not, you may get away with it. We need to change the system where people are punished permanently, not where we end up having to be vigilantes and we come like the people we're fighting. I don't want to become a murderer. I want to be able to have justice for murderers.
Yeah, but you know, Reverend Al, one could argue, and it's just not me personally, somebody go and do a citizen's arrest on them for the murder of Arbery. That's just an argument, and I know what arrest.
No, citizen's arrest is different than what he said. He said violence and tried to act like that's what Malcolm was saying. A citizen's arrest is much different, and I think that is something that we could entertain. But at the same time, we've got to first prosecute this guy who didn't do a citizen's arrest. He did a citizen's killing, and that's what he needs to be held accountable for.
Well, I was going to say it without saying it, but you are on with Reverend Al. Good morning.
Hey, I want to know how can me as a police officer nowadays in the day and time, how can I be the change that I want to see in the community when all this stuff happens?
Enforce the law. If you're a police officer, the law says that if you are witnessing a crime, you ought to arrest and prosecute or lead to a prosecution of the criminal, even if it's another police officer. This man and his son, and now Ben Crump and Merritt have released the tape, killed an unarmed man. It does not take a lawyer to understand that you have the basis of an arrest there. It is not your job to try the case. Your job is to say there's probable cause here. You killed a man who was unarmed, was no threat to you. It's a probable cause to arrest you and let the courts decide your guilt. Policemen should not try the case. They ought to just operate based on the law. There's a presumption of a case here, probable cause.
Yeah, and Reverend Al, you know, I'm really calling out for other races to join us in our protest. And you see something being done, and you act like, and it just bothers me, because when the women's rights movement and the Democratic Party or whatever, they just don't seem to get involved in stuff like this, and it's almost like it don't exist in them, and that's what make a lot of people angry and hate Democrats too. You know, Reverend Al,
that's
and
right.
It bothers me, Reverend. That's just the way I feel. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right, Ricky. And I think that for people to come to us wanting us to support them that don't support us, we have a right to be angry about it. And we should call them out on that. And at the same time, we need to call more of our own people that go along and deal with this in silence, and that get angry at us, that come with things. People right now will say, "Okay, here comes Sharpton again. Here comes Ben Crump again."
Oh yeah.
Well, if this didn't keep happening, we wouldn't have to come out there. I talked to a lady doing Trayvon and said, "Well, you know, Rem, I used to think you just do this for publicity." I said, "I do. I am guilty of doing it for publicity. People don't come to me to keep a secret. They come to me so I'll publicize what happened to them. That's
right.
what I do."
And then you got to deal with some ignorant minds of some of our own people that actually think that somebody paying you $200,000 or $300,000 to go down there and stand on the front line. Man, they don't even know what you go through. You a lightning rod. You get death threats every day. And you've been doing
all
this.
Day.
I already know. You know I already know.
All day.
And it's upsetting, man. And Reverend Al, if me and you wanted to do our 2 radio shows, or whatever, we could do our radio shows and go home and go fishing on the weekends, man. But we out here doing it for a lot of people that won't even get out and vote. We doing it for you, you know, because they ain't.
We are doing it. We are doing it for everybody because, one, like you said, I can do my radio show, TV show, and never leave a studio, no danger. But I'm still marching for Trayvon. I'm going down there and march for Arbery because I believe in this. And I got enough sense to know that could be my daughter. That could be my nephew.
Absolutely.
And if I don't stand up, then what's going to happen? So money can't stop me from that.
Well, Reverend, now I'm about to play a song, man, reminding me of when they shot and killed Benita Carter. And don't ever forget, a white police officer by the name of George Sand shot Benita Carter in 1979 in the back as she sat in her car right there on 10th Avenue in front of Jerry's. And that was when Richard Arrington was on the city council, ran for mayor and became the first black mayor of Birmingham, Alabama. And I will never forget being in that march, holding my mother's hand out there in front of City Hall. This song right here was playing on the radio. Here's OJ's right here, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show.